iPhone 13 versus iPhone 13 Pro. Which of the new iPhones should you buy? Apple just took the wraps off of their latest and greatest creation. The iPhone 13 lineup is finally at long last official, but along with all the excitement and all the new features is a big question that you've got to answer. Is it worth it to spend the extra money on the 13 Pro or Pro Max and get those exclusive Pro end features, or should you save your money and get a 13 or 13 mini? Which of the new iPhone 13s is best for you? You've got questions, I've got answers. Let me help you break it all down and tell you about the 5 biggest things you need to know about the iPhone 13 versus the iPhone 13 Pro and figure out which of these new iPhones is really right for you, because you don't want to make a mistake this year. And a big thanks to ButcherBox for sponsoring this video. So in case you missed it, yes, the iPhone 13 is at long last finally official, and there are 4 new iPhone 13 models you can pick up and buy very soon. There's the 5.4-inch iPhone 13 mini, the 6.1-inch iPhone 13, the 6.1-inch iPhone 13 Pro, and the big daddy of them all, the 6.7-inch iPhone 13 Pro Max. Now, before I do a deep dive into the differences, let me actually start with the similarities, because there's a lot of the same similar DNA between the regular and Pro end iPhones that everyone can enjoy no matter which iPhone model you pick up. They're all rocking basically the same industrial design we saw introduced last year with the iPhone 12. This is boxy edges, it's squared off corners, it's a great modern looking design. Even as we go from 2021 into 2022, you're getting a great industrial design on the iPhone 13 lineup this year. And while the design didn't change all that much this year, if we look at the screen, we can see one of the biggest changes right off the bat to all 4 models, and that is that the notch is finally smaller. Yes, all versions of the iPhone 13, from the 13 mini all the way up to the Pro Max, feature a slightly smaller notch this year. The first change we've really seen to the notch since the iPhone 10 was introduced back in 2017. And this smaller notch, of course, is really nice to see. It's not significant, but it certainly is noticeable, and it should just protrude into your screen a little less. So you get a little bit extra room for playing games, watching movies, scrolling through social feeds. You're gonna get a little bit more of that display to use as the notch gets a little bit smaller up on top. Another similarity shared across all 4 of the iPhone 13 models are all of the under the hood improvements that we see in year-over-year changes. And of course, this year is no different, starting first with the A15 Bionic processor. Yes, this is the latest and greatest Apple silicon. It's their next generation iPhone processor, and it's the most powerful and most efficient processor we've seen to date in an iPhone. And this means that you can play games, you can edit photos, you can take photos, you can edit videos, basically do whatever you want to do on any of the iPhone 13 models with no problem. Apple silicon is really just insane. It's super powerful, it's super efficient, and this phone shouldn't be slowing down anytime soon. You've got a lot of versatility here, and you can basically do whatever you want to do on any of these 4 iPhone 13 models. And larger physical batteries going inside every of the iPhone 13 models this year. So basically the Pro Max should be an even better battery beast, being really efficient with that new processor, and having a physically larger battery inside should give you better battery life. And even, especially important for the smaller 13 mini, you should get better battery life as well with that more efficient chip and the bigger battery. Don't expect any miracles here. The iPhone 12 mini wasn't bad in terms of battery life, but it certainly wasn't great. Hopefully things are a bit better this time around with the iPhone 13 mini and that larger battery and that new Apple silicon chip inside. Now, before I move to the next thing to consider, let me talk for a minute about the iPhone 13 mini, because this phone is shaping up to be a really good buy. You've got a smaller notch, you've got the new A15 Bionic processor inside, so better battery life, better efficiency, more power. This looks like a really great iPhone to buy. And if you are considering the smallest iPhone 13 of the lineup, then the iPhone 13 mini might not be a bad way to go with all the new improvements. The other thing to consider, I just gotta throw this out there, is that this is rumored to be the last year of the mini iPhone. For a number of reasons, Apple is not keeping the mini option around. So if you are thinking about going with the mini iPhone and you want that smaller display, you want the more compact size and compact form factor, then by all means go with the iPhone 13 mini. It certainly seems like a better upgrade over the iPhone 12 mini. Just keep in mind that this is probably the last year Apple is going to offer this mini size. So basically buy one this year or forever hold your peace, because next year things are going to change and the mini is not coming along for the ride. Next up, let's talk display. Now, all iPhone 13 models are packed with beautiful, bright, vibrant OLED displays. Great for watching videos, playing games, scrolling through Twitter, whatever you want to do on your iPhone 13 screen, it's going to be perfect for it. It's going to be great. It's going to look beautiful. It's all good on any iPhone 13 model you decide to pick up. And if you're sort of swayed to the smallest iPhone, the 5.4-inch 13 mini, or the larger 6.7-inch 13 Pro Max, then you have a great display on both phones, and that decision is made a little bit easier on which iPhone 13 you should buy. But if you're sort of stuck in between, in the middle here, between the 6.1-inch 13 and the 6.1-inch 13 Pro, how do you know which way you should go? Well, let me help make that decision a little bit easier for you by talking about one of the special things you can only do on the 13 Pro and 13 Pro Max, and that is with the all-new display technology that makes it really special. The iPhone 13 Pro and Pro Max have LTPO display technology working behind the scenes that allow this iPhone to finally have 120 Hz refresh rate on the display. Yes, the iPhone refresh rate is finally doubling from 60 Hz to 120 Hz, which makes the phone feel snappier, more responsive. Scrolling is kind of buttery smooth as you scroll up and down on the phone, and everything just sort of feels faster. You feel like you have a supercharged iPhone just because the refresh rate has been doubled from 60 Hz to 120 Hz. And this is a really wonderful addition to see if you play a lot of games or you do a lot of high frame rate tasks on your iPhone where you sort of notice when the refresh rate might not have been at its best. Now with this LTPO technology working behind the scenes, you now can have a variable refresh rate on your iPhone that takes it all the way up to 120 Hz for sort of maximum responsiveness, silky smooth navigation, and basically again, just making you feel like your iPhone sort of got turbocharged. Before we continue with more of this iPhone 13 versus iPhone 13 Pro madness, I want to take a quick break and talk to you guys about some of the most delicious meals I've had in a long time, all thanks, of course, to this video sponsor, ButcherBox. Now, if you haven't heard of ButcherBox, I have the honor of introducing you to the best way to get incredibly fresh, high-quality meat delivered to your doorstep in just a couple of clicks. ButcherBox sources from farmers and fishermen who meet the highest standards for quality and allow you to super easily select what kind of box you'd like, either one of their 4 curated options or a custom box you get to pick exactly what you want inside. It's all frozen at the peak of freshness, packed into an eco-friendly 100% recyclable box, and delivered right to your home. And personally, I've gotten to have some incredibly delicious dinners the past few nights thanks to ButcherBox. My wife and I were able to make some delicious beef burgers, we had some amazing pork ribs, and probably my favorite so far, a ribeye steak that, I kid you not, was simply out of this world delicious. I haven't had a steak that good in a long time. As you can tell, I'm more than just a little excited about ButcherBox. It's a company that I love, and also they're a company with a mission that I can get behind. They're on a mission to provide a better livelihood for farmers. They want to deliver fresh, high-quality meat to their customers in a way that is simple and convenient and easy. So if you're looking to take your meals to a whole new level, then look no further than ButcherBox today. They make it so simple and so easy to get fresh, high-quality meat delivered right to your door, and also it's ultra flexible as well. You can cancel the service at any time without penalty. You're not gonna cancel because this is just too good. I love ButcherBox. I know you guys will love it as well. So if you wanna check it out for yourself today and try it and start getting some delicious meat to your door, hit that link down below to learn more and check out ButcherBox and all they have to offer. And also a special promo going on right now. ButcherBox is offering ground beef for life, that if you sign up through our special link, new customers will receive 2 pounds of ground beef in every one of their boxes for the lifetime of their membership. A really awesome deal you gotta take advantage of and check out now. So learn more and sign up for ButcherBox today at the link right down below. Next up, let's talk cameras. Now, to make it very clear right off the bat, all iPhone 13 models are getting a very impressive, a very versatile, and just a really great camera system across the board. You're gonna take great photos and videos on any iPhone 13 model you decide to pick up, no doubt about it. But this, like many years, is a part where you sort of start to see the big differences between the pro-end iPhones that are more expensive and the relatively more affordable, cheaper iPhone 13 and iPhone 13 mini. And although they're all great camera systems, the pro-end phones do have some exclusive features that you just don't get on the regular 13 and 13 mini that might just make them worth the extra money. Starting first with the 13 or 13 mini, you're now getting a diagonal camera setup instead of the vertically stacked system we've seen in years past. So the rumors were true, and you've now got this diagonal system on the back of the 13 or 13 mini. This, of course, is due to Apple bringing sensor shift stabilization technology down to every iPhone 13 model. So it's no longer just a Pro Max feature, it is now on the 13 and 13 mini this year as well. On the iPhone 13 and 13 mini, you've got two cameras here, a 12 megapixel f1.6 wide camera with sensor shift stabilization tech built in, and also a 12 megapixel ultra wide camera with an f2.4 aperture. One of the big surprises here is that cinematic mode is here on the 13 and 13 mini. This is not exclusive just to the higher end iPhones. Basically, this mode auto racks focus in real time, so it'll hold focus automatically on the subject, then transition focus in real time to other parts of the frame, makes your videos look a little bit more professional, a little bit more cinematic, and sort of like you're watching a Hollywood movie. Shifting to the 13 Pro or Pro Max, you'll notice that the camera bump on the back of the phones themselves is noticeably larger than what we got on the iPhone 12 Pro and 12 Pro Max last year. The lenses are noticeably larger as well. Of course, you've got three cameras here, a new and improved telephoto lens with a 3x optical zoom range, which is pretty cool to see, an ultra wide lens with an f1.8 aperture and autofocus as well, and a wide lens with an f1.5 aperture. ProRes video recording has also been added to the 13 Pro and Pro Max as well, so you can record higher quality, less compressed video on your iPhone, which is really cool. We haven't seen this before on an iPhone model, so if you're looking to take the best possible video on the iPhone in your pocket, the 13 Pro and Pro Max is going to be the way to go. You also have a macro photography mode here. Of course, that photographic styles mode is here as well, and of course, cinematic video is here on the Pro and Pro Max as well. So now that you know all the big differences with the design and the display sizes, the display technology, all the exclusive features, let's talk price, colors, and availability. How much are these new iPhones going to cost you? What colors do they come in? What storage sizes? And when can you finally get your hands on them? The iPhone 13 and 13 mini are coming in 5 different color options this year. There's a pink, a blue, a midnight, a starlight, and a product red, coming in 128, 256, or 512 gigabytes of capacity, and of course starting at $699 for the mini and $799 for the iPhone 13. And shifting to the 13 Pro and Pro Max, that is coming in graphite, gold, silver, and Sierra blue for $999 or $1099 respectively, and a couple of different capacity options here, 128, 256, 512, and yes, 1 terabyte is here on the 13 Pro and Pro Max. All 4 of the iPhone 13 models will be available for pre-order this Friday, September 17th, and then the phones will start their international rollout and public release next Friday, September 24th. So now that you know all the features, all the differences, pricing, availability, and everything like that, let me help you break down which iPhone 13 model is best for you. And the first question I want to ask you is, are you drawn one way or the other to a super small iPhone or a super large iPhone? Because typically, if you're drawn to a particular form factor, that's gonna be sort of the end game for you. It's not gonna really matter what's in between, but you really want a form factor above all else, then the decision sort of is made a little bit easier. If you want the largest display possible on an iPhone and you want the biggest of them all, then go with the 6.7-inch 13 Pro Max. You're gonna get all the exclusive camera features, all the features and all the improvements with the display, like the 120 Hz refresh rate, all that great stuff in the biggest iPhone that you might or might not want, but because it's got the largest display, that's gonna be the way you're going to go. Same can be said on the other end with the 13 mini. Maybe you want some of the higher end features and you really wanted that 120 Hz display and the camera improvements and stuff like that, but the smaller form factor is just sort of the most important thing to you. And if you do want a small, compact iPhone that is easy to carry around, it's pocketable, it's portable, then go with the 13 mini. Again, you are missing out on some of those pro-end features, but you're still getting a fantastic camera setup, you're getting a beautiful OLED display, you should be getting better battery life, a smaller notch. A mini iPhone is still not a bad way to go, especially since this year seems like the last year for the mini. I would not recommend skipping the 13 mini, or I wouldn't recommend against it. I'd highly suggest if you want a small iPhone, go with the 13 mini and you won't regret it. But what if you're sort of in between like me, where you don't want the largest iPhone, but you don't want the smallest iPhone, but you want a 6.1-inch display? Should you go iPhone 13 or should you go iPhone 13 Pro? And again, you're getting a great iPhone no matter which way you go here. A new and improved Apple Silicon processor, you're getting the smaller notch, a great design, great cameras, everything here is fantastic, but there is a price difference here to take note of between the 13 and 13 Pro. And I think that if you're really drawn like most years to the camera, if you take a lot of photos and a lot of videos on your iPhone, you want maximum versatility, you really want to use that telephoto lens, then that's only going to be found on the 13 Pro, and that's going to be the way to go. I don't think that the display features here are going to be a big difference maker one way or the other. If you do want a high refresh rate display, then the iPhone 13 Pro might just be the way to go just for that reason. But again, these phones are very similar. They share a lot of the same DNA. And if you are a really big enthusiast of that camera, you're going to use that camera technology a lot, then I think it'd be worth the investment to go with the iPhone 13 Pro or even step up to the iPhone 13 Pro Max. So if you do 13 or 13 mini, you will not be disappointed. Again, no bad choice here on all of the iPhone 13 models this year. So now it is your turn. I want to hear from you guys. What are your thoughts on the iPhone 13 series this year? Are you going iPhone 13 Pro, going iPhone 13 Pro Max, going 13 Mini? Are you upgrading the iPhone 13 at all? Let me know in the comments down below which model you're upgrading to and which iPhone you have right now. And also, what are your thoughts on the general event? Are you disappointed we didn't get under display Touch ID? Was the announcement and the event exciting? Was it sort of a letdown, disappointing? What are your thoughts on everything Apple just announced? And what are your thoughts on the new iPhone 13s for 2021? Let me know in the comments down below. And of course, subscribe to the Apple Circle if you haven't already. We will have lots and lots of coverage on all iPhone 13 models launching very soon, and a lot of cool stuff to look forward to. So subscribe if you haven't already. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching. I'm Robert Rosenfeld from the Apple Circle. Thank you very much, and I will see you all in the next one.